Mister, do he get the credit that he's supposed to get if he was white? That's what he's saying.
If Twister was white,
if Twister was
white, it would be a rap.
That's what I'm trying to say.
If Twister was white,
Yeah.
niggas would be like,
yeah,
what?
right.
Sipping on Hennessy. All that shit he be saying.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
And we're not saying Eminem ain't nice because he.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But I understand where you're coming from. If he was black, how much credit would you give him?
But
so if he's nice, I don't get it. Then what's the thing if he's?
I'm saying like Scatterbo is nice, but it's just like, all right, it's just like if you see a white DB and he nice. If you see a white...
So my take on this whole Dexter Lawrence situation, Dexter Lawrence, first of all, is definitely somebody that you should know in the NFL. He's one of the best at his position, at nose tackle, as a defensive lineman, one of the best in the NFL. The Giants are much better with Dexter Lawrence on the field than off the field. You can look at EPA per play, you can look at pass game, you can look at rush game. The Giants are top 10 versus the pass with Dexter Lawrence on the field versus with him off the field. And so, but to even add context to that, Dexter Lawrence was double teamed at the highest rate in the NFL. No one was double teamed more in the NFL than Dexter Lawrence. That's how good he is. What I will say though is that I think Dexter Lawrence had a better supporting cast in New York than he will in Cincinnati, potentially. Not only did the Giants have Dexter Lawrence, they also had Abdul Carter. They also had Brian Burns. They also had Kayvon Thibodeau. So when you take that player and put them on another team, you may not have a supporting cast if he's being double teamed who could also step up to the plate.
Quick.
Yeah.
I mean, cut you up. The rookie last year.
Abdul Carter.
Is he playing?
You talking about for New York?
No. With the Bengals. He got drafted in the first round. I don't know his name. I just know that.
Position talking about pause.
I would say D-line. No, it's definitely D-line. I might be tripping. But I met him on the carpet. And then I just remember that he never... or something. I don't know if he did play or a contract discrepancy.
Shamar Stewart, there was a whole kind of holdout in the offseason.
Right.
He was saying that he didn't want to play until they got some stuff right with his contract with some guarantees.
So did he ever come through?
Yeah, he did. He played.
Okay.
Yeah, he played. He definitely played.
That was not much.
I mean, like I said, Raby could tell you better because we wasn't shit on defense. I was pissed off.
Yeah.
Then, like you said, Joe Flacco, I'm not Joe Flacco, Joe Burrow got hurt. I'm not saying Joe Flacco did a bad job. Joe Flacco has set some records with Chase, but when we not winning, they let me down, man, because me and Raby had a bet. It's one game away from making it to the fucking, wild card. But don't worry, we're gonna come back this year because keep talking about one nigga that we got.
This was a really good move for you guys.
Okay,
this was a really, really good move for you guys. I know it was.
And bro got that type of energy that, it's contagious.
He does. He's a good locker room guy. He's going to infect everybody else, not just on that defensive line, but on the defense, which in turn energizes your offense for sure. I would definitely say that him going from the NFC East, which traditionally has the Eagles, which has a really good offensive line. He's going up against the Eagles twice a year. The Cowboys, which also has a pretty good offense and offensive line. Now going to the AFC North, you have a Deshaun Watson / Shador Sanders situation where you don't know what that quarterback situation. You have a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers who might come back, and you have the Ravens who lost their center, Tyler Linderbaum. So he could really feast in the AFC North. So this makes a lot of sense. New York teams now own 25% of the top 16 picks in the draft. The New York Giants have the 5th and the 10th overall pick, and the Jets have the 2nd and the 16th pick. So right now, New York football owns a pretty good market in the NFL draft. Yeah. So now my question is, does it make...
What does that mean?
Giants is the only one. Jets, don't count on the Jets ever. I think the Jets won last time. The Knicks won more recently than the Jets. Last time the Jets won, Broadway Joe. What's the nigga Joe somebody? Broadway
You mean the
Joe.
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Niggas forget though when the Jets when the Jets had Rex Ryan. I want to say Revis was
we ain't forget. It's the butt fumble all that. We ain't forgetting none of that shit, my nigga. We remember they didn't win.
No, you're right. But I'm just saying, for them, I feel like it's forgotten that they went back-to-back AFC championship.
They didn't win though.
Yeah,
Because
right.
you know why? Listen, you know what? See, that's what I'm saying. You wasn't here yesterday. We're not doing mediocre up here. We tired of mediocre when it comes to New York. New York, we stay being happy with the Eastern Conference Finals when you with the Knicks.
I got you.
You're happy with making it to the
Actually,
AFC
with
Conference.
the
The reason why that's a big deal, the reason that's a big deal, Lou, is because they got the 2 AFC Conference championships during the Patriots era.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool. You did it during the Patriots era. Whoop-de-doo. They won in 1969. I think my mother was like 14. It's 13 or some shit. Like, New York sells for too much mediocrity. We was talking about it yesterday. They started naming streets after niggas. In basketball.
2 games.
Jalen Brunson Avenue, Carl Anthony. Listen, that's just the way New York is. Now, we've seen the Giants win. We've seen the Yankees win. I'm even old enough to see the Mets win when I was like 9 years old. The Rangers. Never New York. Knicks, and never the Jets. No, we're not gonna do it, Lou.
I respect it because I'm big on the, it is what it is. Like the mediocre shit, like, just it's not enough just to get to the dance.
There you go.
These gotta really
They don't
dance,
even be getting to the dance. They get to the light before the dance.
Right, like Yeah.
Right, and then they don't even get inside the party.
I think with these 2 picks, the Giants might be back.
Well, the last time the Giants had 2 top 10 picks was back, I think, in 2002, and they got Kayvon Thibodeau with one and another with another. But they went from a 4-win team, and then that following year they won 9 games. So they increased themselves five games just in that one season.
Ooh.
But are they back? I don't know.
They might be. They got a wide receiver. They got Scatterbull, and they got the quarterback. So with 2 first-round picks.
Malik Neighbors will be back.
Yeah,
that's true. But they also have Harbaugh, and Harbaugh be whooping them in practice. Zay Flowers came out and said that the reason why the Ravens have so many injuries is because Harbaugh overworks them in practice.
You like Scatterbull?
So,
I'm gonna tell you like this.
You like Scatterbull, bro?
I fuck with Scat. Nah, I seen where you was like, is Scatterbull the Eminem of the black running backs?
The
6,
nigga
7.
played 5 games, 6 games.
But I will say this: if
What do you mean is he the Eminem of the running back?
Cause my sister, she be like, all right, Eminem is a good rapper, but if he was black, would we hype him up this much?
Who would he be?
I'm just saying. And the way she explained, I'm just like,
that's good because let's do, and this is my man too. That's one of my favorite rappers, Eminem too.
Facts, like
But I'm talking about Twister. Do he get the credit that he's supposed to get if he was white? That's what he's saying.
If Twister was white,
If Twister was
it would be a rap.
That's what I'm trying to say.
If Twister was white, niggas would be like,
yeah,
what?
right.
Sipping on Hennessy. What all that shit he be saying?
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
And we're not saying Eminem ain't nice because he.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But I understand where you're coming from. If he was black, how much credit would you give him?
But what?
So if he's nice, I don't get it. Then what's the thing? If he's
I'm saying like Scatterbo is nice, but it's just like, all right, it's just like if you see a white DB and he nice. If you see a white, majority of the time, if you see a white DB at corner or safety, man, motherfucker, man, throw that motherfucker up, man.
Yeah.
It's Swiss cheese right here. What are we talking about? I got crackers. Let's make a sandwich. Pause. But if you see, one of them niggas was like, it might be a little fight.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's just like a mentality. It go back to even
It's
as
the
a
same
kid.
thing because you know what? And I think got a little better over the years, but we talked about that too. When we play ball, a white nigga better not guard us. You better not. Do not
Smack
step
the
up,
floor
bro.
and do all of that.
That's exactly what I'm talking.
Do
When
not
it come
come
to
up here,
AAU
bro.
games,
Yeah, like
and
don't
you
come
play
up
an
here.
all-white team, y'all nigga get beat by an all-white team. Oh, nigga got
Taking
something
your
to talk about.
jersey back.
Man, what the fuck, man? We sitting in the car like, what?
Yeah.
My pop's gonna be like, shit, that's what we on today? Like, I'm telling you, like, it would hurt differently.
So that's what you said about Scatterbull.
But at the same time, if I was on the team with a Scatterbo, I would want him to be my teammate. 100%. I would want him to be my teammate.
Why is that? Explain that.
It's not even about his play, it's the energy. Like certain guys, it's energy locker room guys. Like shit, I can even say for myself, like when I played in the league, I know I got me 2 extra years just because of my energy in the locker room. Fuck the play, but the energy in the locker room, like the vets with Roma Harper and Peanut Tillman told me recently that it was 2 years where I was supposed to get cut, and they literally told them folks, "Nah, we need Lou."
Yeah.
And I appreciate you now, but like I didn't know that, but that's big. You know what I'm saying? Like that energy, and for him to actually make plays and be productive with that energy, I do hope that he come back, 100% the way he was able to play, doing the backflips and everything. That was a freak injury. But if he do, it's gonna be a little scary. I think New York can really do some shit. Like he different.
He is. And not just like with his on-ball assignments, but his off-ball assignments. Because it's not just about him carrying a rock. It's about blitz pickup, and it's about pass protection. And the way that he blocks is extremely intense. He's a really good teammate with the ball and without the ball, I think. Yeah.
I think he's just a good white boy. Played 6-7 games in New York going crazy. Yo, Scatterboo. Nigga got 6 games under his belt.
To your point, though, what was the QB?
Cam doesn't like him because
no, it ain't that I don't like him. We ain't seen enough of him, but because he white, because he has good energy, because he runs kind of violently. Scatterboo. Then he go to fucking wrestling match. Scatterboo is a wrestler. You made the great point. White. You know what I'm saying? When it's white, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Same way we talk about, like, just going back to NBA, they talk about, when niggas get another white boy, it's going to be crazy in the NBA. And that's because all the white players that's good are not American white players. They thought Cooper Flagg was going to be him this year. Maybe he will be eventually. They got Colin Knippel. But they like, where's the Michael Jordan of white people? You can't count Luka Doncic or Dirk Nowitzki or the Joker because they're not from America. They need a good old Larry Bird.
But when's the last time we seen even in the Michael Jordan era, when was the last time we seen a white type Michael Jordan?
Larry Bird. Like I'm saying, he's not nobody's Michael Jordan, but I'm talking about.
Matt
even
McClung.
Like who?
No, he said during the Michael Jordan era is Larry Bird.
Like, but Bird was on the, he was kind of older.
Well, no. What you got to realize is this: Mike came in '84. Okay. He didn't win till '94, '91. Bird and them niggas was winning. It was Magic and Bird until the end of the '90s. So yeah, Mike had to sit down for about 7 years. Yeah, for about 7 years till he got there. You know what I'm saying? Larry Bird was that nigga. It took a minute. But yeah, to your point, nobody's gonna be Mike. Nobody's.
Well, I mean, I won't even say like Mike, but it's just like a Bird type vibe, like where, Bird was talking shit to.
Nobody do that. That's what I'm trying to say when they be arguing about top 10 players. Bird will sit there and say, you know what, I'm gonna just play y'all with my left hand tonight. Pause. It don't make sense to play y'all with my strong arm. Just play y'all left-handed, and then go out there and play the whole game left-handed. But I used to be a Redskins fan growing up, and y'all might be too young to know, but it was a white running back, John Riggins, who was dumb nice and dumb good and valiant, and that was my nigga, and he was real good. So if Scatterboo get to that, we got a while to see. All I'm saying is you taking an appetizer and act like you full of appetizer, like I didn't come to this restaurant again. Y'all didn't even eat yet. Pause. Get the meal and see what happened. That's all I'm saying.
We got the Chili's 3-stack, the 3-piece joint.
Y'all hating on Scatterboo real bad because we see that he does something very unique that a lot of rookie running backs don't do. And one of the hardest things for rookie running backs to do is their off-ball assignments, and he does it so naturally. And, I think when we see a full season of it, then you'll be like, oh, okay.
How many games did he play this year?
Maybe 5-ish, something like that.
I'm not hating.
I've seen enough.
I'm not hating.
I've seen enough.
I'm actually not hating. I'm actually not going on 5 games. And let's say, for instance, too, right? Let's go with another resident. If he plays that well off the ball and that violently and that good of a running back, how long is his career gonna be? RG3, even though he's a quarterback, all that shit you talking about, he might get hurt again.
He might.
And he one of them physical, like, no bullshit. I ain't just saying this because I'm here. Early today, I'm in the hotel. They playing the Youngstown Maurice Claret documentary on 30 for 30. Random. No bullshit. And it was like, they kept talking about, like, even his freshman year, how many injuries a nigga had. And he was out there running.
Yeah, Mo was a violent running
Physical.
back. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you say, to your point, like that wear and tear, how long is it gonna last?
And Scatterboo, I'm not hating on you. I just said I didn't see enough, but they'll be like, Cam hating on Scatterboo, like she just said. I can't go. He played 5 NFL games, and Nick, I don't care if you in there make your faces.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, he didn't put the bubble up today. Thumbs up, Nick. Where's the bubble
All
at?
I'm saying is this: let me see some more, and I'll be like, okay, cool. Same thing. Jackson Dart. I'm telling you, he's like, Nick. How many games y'all won? 2 games last year. It's not spilling out to wins, and they be like, yo, Lou, they be like, yo, they got a bright future. They just won 2 games.
So what you think about QB?
As far as Jackson Dart,
Yeah, Dart. Off
can't.
of what you seen, like, cause
The eye test.
you know, cause
I'm gonna give them. What I'm saying is, let me see, because you know they fired the coach. You know, he came in because Russell Wilson. Think about Russell Wilson and Sierra chemistry with now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I will say is, Russell Wilson, he did what he had to do. So it's different. It's different. Nah, I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm not moving the goalposts.
I'm just about to say,
chain move,
everybody,
man.
I'm not.
for everybody,
You
who's got a
move the
different
chain.
goal.
I'm not moving the chain.
Hands went like this. Nigga said, he did what he had to do. What was that?
No, like, now hear me out though. Like, Russ, I just feel like Russ in his I don't give a fuck era. Like, y'all niggas done tried me plenty times. If I was like, I'm gonna tell y'all, like, I remember my freshman year in college. I was at Georgia Tech. I was a true freshman. This nigga Russell Wilson was at NC State before he went to Wisconsin. Man, me and my dad, I got in the car. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like my dad was like, "Man, whoever that nigga is, he is different, right?" Obviously, he did what he did in Seattle. He's had a great career. I just feel like now he's like at the stage of his career where he's just like, man, y'all little niggas. He not gonna say that because he Russell Wilson, but I think mentally, with Sierra giving him the goodies, he's definitely mentally like, y'all niggas don't want this.
Yeah.
So I think he's gotten attitude of where he don't give a fuck no more.
He could, especially with the media kind of talking a lot of shit about him and Sierra. He might just be over being the good guy.
Now play is over with.
Yeah.
But we don't need that no more from Russ.
Yeah.
He already got a ring.
Yeah. Very true.
So you just paying him to do walkthroughs?
You said it's over for Clay?
No, for Russell Wilson.
No, before you said Clay, it's over for?
No.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah.
He's talking about Russell Wilson.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
saying, so what do they pay him for? Walkthroughs at this point?
I think veteran guidance. You know? You got to have that. I mean,
But does he want to be that is the question. Does he want to be in a
I'm
locker
saying
room?
he don't even give a
and
damn
just-
no more. I think he just want to be around. He can bring, his kids and, show them the ropes, see,
He can't get the office and all of the extra parking spaces at this point.
Nah, but at the same time, like you said, with the Sierra guidance, I think the nigga can pop lock into a motherfucking into a first class parking spot.
Thinking. They have a way of putting unspoken feelings into actual words. So when both of them agreed that those matchups felt disrespectful, they weren't presenting it as a personal complaint. They were describing an experience that resonated with an entire generation of players and fans who understood those unwritten rules. In many ways, they gave a voice to a piece of basketball culture that had always existed beneath the surface. And honestly, the fact that people are still debating this conversation years later tells you just how deep basketball culture really runs. A simple discussion between two Harlem legends about defensive matchups has opened the door to a much bigger conversation. That's because in communities like theirs, basketball was never just another game. It represented identity. It represented pride. It became its own language. And Mase and Cameron learned to speak that language long before they ever became rap stars. So the next time you're watching a game and a defensive matchup seems a little unexpected, don't just look at the X's and O's. Ask yourself what that decision might be communicating to the player standing on the other side. Think about the confidence, the pride, and the perception tied to that assignment. Sometimes the loudest message in basketball isn't spoken by the coach or the commentators. It's delivered through the matchup itself. Because just like life, respect is often shown through actions instead of words. If you've stayed with me all the way to the end, I want to hear your perspective. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know whether you agree with Mase and Cameron's point of view or if you saw things differently growing up watching the game. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss our deep dives into the biggest conversations surrounding hip-hop, basketball, and the culture that connects them. Trust me, we're only getting started, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.
Changing long-held opinions about different styles of play. But on neighborhood courts and playgrounds like the ones Mase and Cameron grew up on, those cultural shifts hadn't fully taken hold yet. The old beliefs about who commanded respect still existed. Those unwritten standards were deeply rooted, and that's the environment that shaped how both men viewed the game. There's another important layer that can't be ignored. During that period, hip-hop and basketball were practically inseparable. The same neighborhoods that produced influential rappers also produced incredible basketball talent. The swagger, creativity, and competitiveness flowed between both worlds. Mase and Cameron didn't grow up watching basketball from the sidelines. They lived inside that culture every day. That's why their perspective carries weight. They weren't commenting as casual observers. They were speaking as people who came from the heart of that world. The truth is, Mase and Cameron weren't speaking as outsiders looking in. They lived this culture every single day. They understood the unwritten rules that never had to be explained because everyone who came from that environment already knew them. One of the biggest rules was simple. The defender assigned to you reflected how dangerous the other team believed you were. If they put their best stopper on you, it meant your game demanded respect. If they handed you off to someone they viewed as expendable, that sent a completely different message. And here's what makes it so interesting. Basketball has always been full of silent communication. A matchup could say more than a speech ever could. In a world where reputation was everything, those decisions spoke loudly without anyone opening their mouth. What's even more interesting is that Mase and Cameron aren't alone in feeling this way. If you listen to enough former players who grew up in that same era and the same basketball culture, you'll hear similar stories told in different ways. The language of respect on the court was something almost everyone understood. Earning the toughest defensive assignment wasn't viewed as bad luck. It was a compliment. It meant your name carried weight before tip-off even started. It meant opponents recognized your talent. It meant your reputation walked into the gym before you did. That's what makes this conversation so layered, because at its core, it isn't simply about race. And both Mase and Cameron made that point themselves. It's really a discussion about respect, recognition, and how competitors measure one another. It's about wanting the people across from you to acknowledge the work you've put in. It's about the basketball culture that shaped Harlem and the standards that came with it. More importantly, it's about two legendary hip-hop figures being honest enough to say something many people quietly believed,
but rarely expressed publicly. That's always been part of what makes Mase and Cameron such compelling personalities. They've never been afraid to say what others are only thinking. During the 90s and early 2000s, basketball carried a very defined pecking order when it came to defenders. The league had elite stoppers like Gary Payton, Scottie Pippen, Ron Artest, and Bruce Bowen. When coaches assigned those players to you, it was almost a compliment. It meant they viewed you as dangerous enough to deserve their best defender. That assignment showed genuine respect for your offensive talent. But when a lesser-known white defender got the call instead, especially during that era's cultural climate, it created a different perception. To Mase and Cameron, it sounded like the opponent believed they weren't important enough to take seriously. At the same time, they also made it clear that this wasn't about claiming every white player lacked talent. Plenty of white players from that generation earned tremendous respect. John Stockton built a reputation as an incredibly tough defender. Dennis Rodman, despite being remembered mostly for rebounding, constantly frustrated opponents with relentless defense. Tony Kukoc and several others proved they absolutely belonged at the highest level. But that's not the group Mase and Cameron were describing. They were referring to the lesser-known role players or bench defenders who sometimes got those assignments. And when those particular matchups happened, the message they received felt much bigger than basketball itself. Their perspective makes even more sense when you remember the street ball environment they grew up in. Harlem playground basketball was intense, creative, and deeply personal. Every game felt like an opportunity to earn respect. Every possession mattered because people were constantly proving themselves. The crowd noticed everything. Your teammates noticed everything. Even your opponents judged your performance. When someone battled you with maximum effort, that was considered respect, regardless of who won. But when it felt like the other team didn't believe you deserved their best effort, that carried an entirely different meaning. Cameron has always had a gift for telling stories that pull listeners right into the moment. He painted a picture that almost anyone who loves basketball could understand. Imagine spending years sharpening your skills, endless hours outside, countless games on unforgiving blacktop courts. No luxury gyms, no state-of-the-art trainers, just relentless work. Then you finally reach a high-level game, only for the other side to act like you're not worth their top defender. Whether that was actually their intention or not didn't matter to him, because once something feels disrespectful, perception often becomes reality. Mase added another interesting layer that many people probably never considered. He explained that the matchup itself could completely change your mindset. Going against someone with a defensive reputation created excitement. It raised your intensity immediately. You wanted to test yourself. You wanted to prove you belonged. But when the assignment felt dismissive instead, that competitive spark wasn't the same. Some of the energy disappeared. Part of what makes great basketball unforgettable is being pushed by someone you truly respect. Without that challenge, the experience simply doesn't hit the same. One of the most fascinating parts of this entire conversation is what it says about basketball culture during that era. The 90s and early 2000s represented a major transition for the sport. International stars were entering the league in larger numbers and changing long-held opinions about different styles of play. But on neighborhood courts and playgrounds like the ones Mase and Cameron grew up on, those cultural shifts hadn't fully taken hold yet. The old beliefs about who commanded respect still existed. Those unwritten standards were deeply rooted, and that's the environment that shaped how both men viewed the game. There's another important layer that can't be ignored. During that period, hip-hop and basketball were practically inseparable. The same neighborhoods that produced influential rappers also produced incredible basketball talent. The swagger, creativity, and competitiveness flowed between both worlds. Mase and Cameron didn't grow up watching basketball from the sidelines. They lived inside that culture every day. That's why their perspective carries weight. They weren't commenting as casual observers. They were speaking as people who came from the heart of that world. The truth is, Mase and Cameron weren't speaking as outsiders looking in. They lived this culture every single day.
They understood the unwritten rules that never had to be explained because everyone who came from that environment already knew them. One of the biggest rules was simple. The defender assigned to you reflected how dangerous the other team believed you were. If they put their best stopper on you, it meant your game demanded respect. If they handed you off to someone they viewed as expendable, that sent a completely different message. And here's what makes it so interesting. Basketball has always been full of silent communication. A matchup could say more than a speech ever could. In a world where reputation was everything, those decisions spoke loudly without anyone opening their mouth. What's even more interesting is that Mase and Cameron aren't alone in feeling this way. If you listen to enough former players who grew up in that same era and the same basketball culture, you'll hear similar stories told in different ways. The language of respect on the court was something almost everyone understood. Earning the toughest defensive assignment wasn't viewed as bad luck. It was a compliment. It meant your name carried weight before tip-off even started. It meant opponents recognized your talent. It meant your reputation walked into the gym before you did. That's what makes this conversation so layered, because at its core, it isn't simply about race, and both Mase and Cameron made that point themselves. It's really a discussion about respect, recognition, and how competitors measure one another. It's about wanting the people across from you to acknowledge the work you've put in. It's about the basketball culture that shaped Harlem and the standards that came with it. More importantly, it's about two legendary hip-hop figures being honest enough to say something many people quietly believed, but rarely expressed publicly. That's always been part of what makes Mase and Cameron such compelling personalities. They've never been afraid to say what others are only thinking.
They have a way of putting unspoken feelings into actual words. So when both of them agreed that those matchups felt disrespectful, they weren't presenting it as a personal complaint. They were describing an experience that resonated with an entire generation of players and fans who understood those unwritten rules. In many ways, they gave a voice to a piece of basketball culture that had always existed beneath the surface. And honestly, the fact that people are still debating this conversation years later tells you just how deep basketball culture really runs. A simple discussion between two Harlem legends about defensive matchups has opened the door to a much bigger conversation. That's because in communities like theirs, basketball was never just another game. It represented identity. It represented pride. It became its own language. And Mase and Cameron learned to speak that language long before they ever became rap stars. So the next time you're watching a game and a defensive matchup seems a little unexpected, don't just look at the X's and O's. Ask yourself what that decision might be communicating to the player standing on the other side. Think about the confidence, the pride, and the perception tied to that assignment. Sometimes the loudest message in basketball isn't spoken by the coach or the commentators. It's delivered through the matchup itself. Because just like life, respect is often shown through actions instead of words. If you've stayed with me all the way to the end, I want to hear your perspective. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know whether you agree with Mase and Cameron's point of view or if you saw things differently growing up watching the game. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss our deep dives into the biggest conversations surrounding hip-hop, basketball, and the culture that connects them. Trust me, we're only getting started, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.